watu ambao walikuwa wameshtakiwa na mauaji sasa wanasamehewa. Wengine iko kesi ya mauaji bado iko active murder case, anapitisha na kuwa waziri. Wengine wanasema jamaa huyu kesi yake ilikuwa ile ya bilioni 12 aliyekuwa amewekewa tu sasa. Lakini kwa upande mwingine huku watu wetu wananyanyasa. Mheshimiwa Waluke, mjumbe wa Seresia, kesi yake ilikuwa ni kama civil case. Manake walidai pesa na wakalipwa. Badala ya kusema hiyo pesa ulilipwa kwa njia ambayo si nzuri, irudisha, amewekwa ndani. Kesi yake inafufushwa, anawekwa ndani na amefungwa miaka 67. Wewe ni mtu miaka 60 tayari, kama kuweka Raila ndani kwa miaka 50. Ni fitina, si fitina? Unawacha Lenturi, unawacha unawacha yule mama mwingine huko, alafu Waluke wanachukua wanaweka ndani miaka 67. Hiyo ni haki kweli? Hiyo ni haki kweli? Tunataka Waluke apewe bond, alafu hiyo kesi baadaye itupuliwe mbali. Manake ni kesi ya fitina.
Now I must confess, those remarks by Azimio leader Raila Odinga took me completely by surprise. What did Raila say? Now, this John Waluke Manenos is very puzzling, and I'll tell you why. You know, both sides of the political divide have chosen their people to sit in the very powerful Parliamentary Service Commission. This is the organ that controls Parliament. And both sides have chosen 3 individuals. Interestingly, Kenya Kwanza have snubbed all the other parties affiliated, and it has chosen only UDA people. But that's a story for another day. And Azimio side has chosen a person from each major partner of Azimio. Somebody from Jubilee, somebody from Wiper Party, and of course somebody from ODM. Now the person Jubilee have chosen, wait for this one, is John Waluke, who is currently serving a 67-year sentence. And he has been denied bail because he has appealed the case. And what Raila is saying is that Waluke should be granted bond and released pending his appeal over this case, where he has been sentenced to 67 years. 67. Now, Jubilee have not withdrawn Waluke's name. At least at the time I was making this particular video, they have not withdrawn his name. He is the Jubilee nominee, still is. But they knew that he had this case, and they knew that the ruling was coming up. And that's not all. It is the same Jubilee party, when it was in power, that instigated the case against Waluke. Of course, at that time, Waluke was a firm supporter of the then Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, who is now president. But now Raila is telling us that actually there's no fair play here. That people from UDA who have ongoing murder cases have been appointed to cabinet positions, which is true, that's a fact. Others have had their cases withdrawn, that is also a fact. And therefore Raila is saying there should be fair play. That even after they release Oluke, that case should be thrown out. Because after all, this is almost a civil case. Now I'm afraid that is also a fact, although it is also a corruption case. Why is Raila calling this a civil case? Well, let me give you a quick example. You're given a contract to deliver something to a company, and somehow in the back and forth, you end up not delivering. Or the quality of the items you deliver are not what the company expected, and therefore the matter ends up in court. You are paid, but you didn't deliver. This is really what this case is all about. It's true. And so you're operating a business and this happens to you. What will happen to you? What will happen to you? Will you end up behind bars for 67 years? I don't think so. And so, based on the facts, many of us may not agree with Raila, but he's talking facts. That is also true. Are you guys as confused as I am? Because I'm very confused. Now, former President Uhuru Kenyatta's gallant fight against corruption was admired by most of us. Many of us admired it. And at the time Oluke's case came up, we were all very excited. That's very true. And of course, this case involved the National Cereals and Produce Board, where people deliver maize. And of course, there's been a lot of corruption. People have done this kind of games for a long time. And so we're all excited that some action was going to be taken. But there's this thing called justice. Justice should be the same for all of us, no matter who you are. And we also know that there were some other people also mentioned in this National Cereals and Produce Board manenos, who were not jailed for 67 years. We know that is also true. So at the end of the day, what should rule over everything? Justice or our emotions? Just answer that question for yourself. Even our national anthem says what? Justice be our shield and defender. Justice. So, do we have justice in Waluke's case? You tell me. And of course we know why Waluke has ended up in so much trouble. We know that he was a firm supporter of the deputy president at that time, who is now president. And we know that he defected after causing Ruto's popularity to skyrocket amongst the Bukusu people, whom Waluke represents in parliament. He is the member of parliament for Sirisia. It was very difficult to remove him, even in the elections that we just recently went through. There's no doubting it. The man is popular on the ground, is well loved. And so after doing that very good job for Ruto, he decided to skip camp, change allegiance, change the party he belongs to, and he went back to Jubilee. And of course UDA and Ruto handlers were not happy. How could they have been happy? They must have been livid. And then things went the way they did with our recently concluded elections. And now Waluke is in hot soup. We don't know how he'll get out of it. But out of the blue has come a very unlikely supporter. Raila stuck out his neck for Waluke. Very complicated. And it'll be interesting to see how this case proceeds, especially the appeal. Because there's a very clear trend we are seeing in Kenya. Those who are in Ruto's camp, Kenya Kwanza people, and especially UDA people, seem to have things nice. they seem to have decisions skewed in their direction in every case, in case after case after case. Even the IEBC had a lot of favorable rulings. In fact, all rulings were favorable to IEBC in the run-up to the election, except one, which was in favor of a presidential candidate, or somebody who wanted to be a presidential candidate, Ruben Kigame. And the particular judge who ruled against IEBC was quickly transferred. You know that. Those are the facts. And so it will be interesting to see how Waluke's case develops, and whether we'll ever see any justice for Bwana Waluke. Because yes, there seems to be evidence against him, but let everybody be judged the same. I believe, if my memory serves me right, this is what UDA people are telling us. Let there be justice for all. But now that they're in power, will there be justice for all? Or shall we have a repeat of what we saw and what UDA were fighting against and what they were calling for, justice, not being served? Shall we have a repeat of that? Only time will tell. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.